Take you live now to Cape Town, where Police Minister Bheki Cele, alongside his Commissioner Kehlas Tole, are reporting back on attempts to crack down on the issue of gangsterism in the Western Cape.
Identify hotspot areas. Operation Thunder also provides an alternative physical presence in hotspots areas in the station precincts. This results in the creation of a force multiplier. Arrests related to the Operation Thunder activities were from 1st April 2018 to the 30th June 2018. In the category of all crimes, 91,114 arrests were made, and in 17 community reported crimes category, 33,140 arrests were made, which means there are category in 17 kind of crime that communities themselves generated and reported to the police. As we have said, wanted to increase the working relationship between communities and the police. Though that happened, that there was a dramatic increase of the report from the communities to the police, which means they were becoming comfortable with each other, the community and the police. The impact of Operation Thunder since its inception to date brought about the following arrest in the 9 identified stations of the Western Cape. Surely we'll be getting these figures at the later stage. Contact crime arrest is 999. That includes murder, attempted murder, robberies, sexual offences, and assaults. Police-initiated arrest was drug-related. That's 1,861. Illegal possession of firearms, 58 suspects were arrested. And in all arrests of the such was 2,193. That is within the period of Operation Thunder. Confiscation executed under Operation Thunder are as follows. Dacha, 100 kg. I don't know how, that must be a big Dacha. 100 kg. Cocaine, 260 grams. Tick, 5 kgs. Heroin, 700 grams. Mandrake tablets, 5,441. Ammunition, 994. Firearms, 61. Confiscated illegal firearms within the period. And well, of course, the liquor liters, 3,000. I'm sure somebody would have made a good part. But that's 3,242 liters. Those that they wanted to make some parties, unfortunately, we have disposed it now. Key policing actions executed was disrupting operations of 955, drug operations 518, Sec 253, 8 drugs and liquor, 67, search warrants executed, 606. So these are search warrants that some of them have been outstanding, some of them are generated now, but 606. Tracing operations, those people that you wanted to trace and find, is 1,598 people to be traced and found. Persons search 65,000, drug premises search 1,668, vehicles search 5,961. Highlighted successes and the impact of Operation Thunder include 94 disruptive operations where various gangs and number of strongholds were targeted in. Leonsdale and Clark Estate in Elsis River, Eseg, Eureka, Connaught Estate in Ravensmith, Tafelsig, East Ridge, Bacon Valley in Mitchell's Plain, and going down until Avian Park in Worcester. I don't know why I love this township, but I love Avian Park. When I visited them, I called it Avian Flu Township rather than Avian Park. We have arrested high flyers of those that are wanted within the period, and those are 7 high flyers that we have arrested. Your example would be Exxan Kutse, a hitman of the 28 barbarian mobsters. They've got names, these guys. Together with Aldino Peterson, also belongs to 28th barbarian mobsters. Arrested for attempted murder. And then we have arrested, that falls under the station of Kraaifontein, and we have successfully opposed the bail for these guys, and they appear in court on 30th July 2018. Philippi, these are a few examples of these guys. We have arrested Jerome Weso, is the leader of the Laughing Boys in Hanover Park. The status, the bail is opposed and appears 3rd October. In Mannenberg, we have arrested Dillon Prince, a hitman of the Hard Livings. Oh, okay, Hard Livings are still there. And is remanded in custody and appears on the 2nd August 2018. Police are working hard to oppose bails on these gangs when they get arrested. In the 9 Operation Thunder Station, there's been an increased murder in Mitchell's Plain, Bishop Levis, Elsis River, and Philippi East. And then there's been a reduction in stabilization. Remember, the concept of the Operation Thunder is a stabilization. So we will stabilize. Out of the process of stabilization, we have managed to reduce out of 9 stations 6, because one was 5 and 6. So others, yes, there's been the increase. We have learned our lessons and we'll be working on these lessons to begin the reversal now. It has been the stabilization, which we are almost there with stabilization, so we'll move to the reversal, that we reverse all ills in terms of attempted murder, in terms of murder and the rapes and all that. For multiple murder arrests since 1st April 2018, 16 arrests were made in 6 cases. Nyanga, we have made the arrest there, and 5 persons were shot in a stationary Avanza in Brown's Farm. You remember the case, there were 2 kids that, and those people have been arrested, and the bail opposed successfully, and then they're caught on the 26th. There are other people, 3 accused against in the matter at Elsis River, bail opposed, and then there are 18. The court date is 18, was yesterday. I'm sure they are remanded on that. Elsis River, the people that there were 2 accused, that date is on the 6th, and the bail is opposed. All these cases we have almost successfully opposed the bail, which really helps to stabilize the situation rather than people go in there and come back without kept in custody. There are multiple attempted murder arrests were made. Again, the following areas, that is, will be your Athlon. The names are given there of Dominic, accused 1, Gavin, accused 2. And then in Delft, there's Dean Jacobs, and there are names given there. And again, all these people, the bail has been successfully opposed. In Hermanus, on the 25th of 2018, Mlondolozi Ntulo, a serial rapist, has been arrested in the area of Hermanus and charged on 11 cases of rape. He will appear on the 3rd of September 2018 in the Hermanus Magistrate Court. The suspect is currently in custody as bail was opposed successfully. We are quite pleased that the question of women and children, there are some few successes. This guy is accused of 11 rapes. So if we can take those people out of the system, it makes life better for all of us. and then it's important for continuing working in that way. It's not the Northwest seizure is 150k of dagga were seized in Freedom Farm in Delft, and 2 people are accused there. Are suspects arrested, David Kuwe and Akona Balintulu's bail opposed, and they appear today in court. There was a case of suspicion of money laundering, where 108,000 cash seized in Elsis River. Gershon Lech is accused there and is arrested. The state of the bail, successful refusal of the bail, and then we have managed to, it would not be within Thunder only. The convictions that have happened from April 2018 until June, again, we have had quite a successful conviction on the matters, on the police official. So, a person who killed Constable Suisa at Table Bay, Atenkosi Mdluli, Xolan Desi, and Jackson Modo were successfully convicted, those guys, and they are, as we speak, in prisons, in prison, convicted now. So there is a list of convicted people for possession of illegal firearms. Xolan Desi and also are sentenced now life imprisonment. So for killing the police and in possession of firearms. So the bishops, levies, there are people that also are convicted, and unfortunately one was acquitted, that is Keno Green, and Malone Johnson charged with wrong, but Doran Dietrichs and Jen Hedgent were given 25 years in prison for those guys. The lessons that we are trying to deal with is an upsurge of the Mitchell's playing that has taken place in about 2 weeks back, where people have moved in terms of killings from 10 to 20 in the same period. But the numbers are on one incident killing that has moved rather than individual moving killing. So there was one area where about 5 or 4 people were killed at a go. So it's a question where our lessons were working on why there'll be that increase in these 3 stations, and while we are winning on other about 6 stations in stabilization. As we have said, it was a stabilization, we're learning our lessons, and we will be applying those winning methods in all other areas. One other thing that we are very pleased with are the responses of communities in some areas. For instance, we have visited ASEC, and we have received letters from Elsis River and Ravensmith, where people are thanking Operation Thunder. The only problem we have, when you try to deal with the problem, you create another problem. We have created the problem that communities are saying these police are not moving away anymore. Remember, these are temporal bases, but they say the way they work with, they want those police and those base camps to permanently stay there. That is not for me. That is the person responsible for visible policing in the country and the National Commissioner. Ours from this side is to say we like to see people safe. Anything that makes people safe must be kept, and that thing must be sustained going forward. We believe we'll be working well with the communities going forward, And then the police, as we speak, we are satisfied that we are turning the tide. We are satisfied that as a South African police, we are learning our lessons and working within the methodologies we have created. If we need numbers increase, those are the police numbers we need. We don't need the members of the South African National Defence Force. Remember, the South African National Defence Force is not trained in policing. Is trained on army situation. There are things that they can't tolerate that police tolerate. For instance, police here, if they come here and they are looking for a suspect, that suspect might be allowed to escape rather than shooting all of you. And army is not trained on those things. Let me give you the example. We arrested that guy in Germiston with 8 murders. Police found him sitting with the women in the room. They couldn't shoot him, even though he had AK in the hand. They couldn't shoot him because would have injured the rest of the people. I don't think that soldiers would have tolerated that. So that's why we believe that we need to discuss with those that are calling for the deployment of soldiers here so that we find the better way of doing it. But we fully believe that we have not reached and we are not about to reach the time where we are going to deploy the SANDF members in the Western Cape. Increase the numbers of the police, we'll look at that. Increase the units, we'll look at that. But South African National Defence at this juncture is no. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Minister, for that address. We now move to the second segment of our press briefing, where we'll take a round of questions. I will ask that members of the media please introduce yourself and the media house you're representing and pose your question. Any takers? I'll take you 1, 2, 3, in that order, please.
Hi, Minister. Marvin Charles from the Cape Argus here. I just want to find out, has there been any progress in the taxi violence? We understand there's been shootings in Belleville. Can you just give an update on that? Thank you.
Hi, Minister. Piladi here from eNCA. So we heard that a man was arrested yesterday, a man who worked at Lutuli House in connection with the cash heists that we've seen in Gauteng. Just, were you aware when he was arrested about 2 weeks ago that he was employed by Lutuli House? Do we know what he did at Lutuli House and what his involvement was in those heists?
Sunday Sopalisa Cape Times. Minister, you, on your own words, you said Mitchell's Plain is becoming like problematic and is becoming a scourge, and there's been some increase in killings. And yourself, Minister, you say like you've learned your lessons. Have you identified the problem? What's the problem there? Because innocent people are losing their lives, and even today there are 3 schools that have not opened. Children have not gone to school in Mitchell's Plain. Have you identified what the problems are, especially that like there are some units that have been deployed?
Okay. Anyone else before we allow for responses? Minister, over to you.
Taxi violence. Immediately after this meeting, we're having a meeting with taxi leadership. So we had a meeting. We agreed to have a second bite. I think it would be unfair to them to come and give the press briefing and immediately go to the meeting. But you have asked about specific Belleville murder. It's quite significant that was almost a first murder after 4 weeks of the meeting with the taxi people. We have suggestions. We have prepared our responses of the matters they raise, they have on theirs, and taking final decision where we go to. I think it will be a better briefing after we've had that meeting with them, and that meeting starts at 11, 10:30, if I'm not mistaken, after you guys. Luthuli House. This question of knowing if this was an ANC person working at Luthuli keeps coming. Look, we don't profile people as we arrest them, either their nationalities immediately after the arrest, either their tribes, either their political affiliation. We just arrest criminals as we found in the area where criminal activity has been committed. This guy was found with, there were 4 at Dobsonville with this cash heist. We arrested 2 and later arrested 2. But indeed, we have established who he is. He works for the organizing department on temporal basis at Luthuli House. So, which means when there is organizing and mobilizing for election or any other thing, he gets invited. This is almost his 3rd cash heist. This guy. This is his 3rd cash heist. It's not the first one. I think 2 are at Northwest, and plus this one. He has jumped the court twice. One was drunk and driving that was supposed to appear in court, and it did not appear in court. So what happens with Luthuli and him is not my business. My business is to say he's arrested. I'm told that he has been summarily fired. What that means, Luthuli House will answer on that. I'm not a spokesperson of the ANC. Yeah. I'm spokesperson of the police on their behalf, that the guy has been arrested. And there are other things that has been raised that I can't pronounce now by the security people at Luthuli, because they were quite taken aback. But I'm told, I spoke to some people, especially the head of organizing, there have been suspicions about the guy. I asked the question, do you have more suspicions? So that you give us our suspects, whether they are Luthuli, whatever floor at Luthuli. If they are suspects, they belong to us. So I think we'll be talking on that. But the crux of the matter, that is it now. The guy is in custody, and with other criminals for cash heist. There are more than 40 at the present moment that have been arrested from the 4th of June coming up now. Those people that have been arrested. As you arrest them on the arresting place, there is no profiling, but as you go on, you begin to profile and understand. For instance, we have discovered that there are foreign nationals on these guys. We have identified clearly 2 Botswana, and I think 1 or 2 Zimbabweans and all that. Botswana are specializing on blasting. So I'm sure they're working on the mines, the approach for that kind of thing. Their job is to blast these vents. So what is important, the last almost 5 or 6 cash heists, they failed the blasting. And people are asking why. It's because as the South African police, we have reduced their skills on blasting by arresting their experts. So it's not just happening because somebody is refusing to blast. 2 Botswana guys are experts, both of them, on blasting, and they have been arrested. So that's why their capabilities on blasting has been reduced. The last question of the Michel's plane is a question that we have tried to study. Maybe one thing that we will have to do there, I have visited the place not once, and you begin to understand the environmental design of the place. Maybe one thing that will have to double there are your camp bases. 1, and 2 is one of the most hostile, for whatever reason, community towards the police and towards the law generally, for whatever reason. That's the place we visited where the child was killed, young Stacy. The hostility was huge in that place, so we had to go. I think we'll have to work on relationships between the police and the community in that particular area. There are some other influences. I'm not going to sit here and begin to blame people, but it was very interesting to me to see the spokesperson on TV of an organization called Heartful Cape Townians. I'm sure not all Cape Townians are heartful. There are those that are not heart. But I listened to him and I realized why because the gentleman, I think it was Mr. Adams, seems to be, he was there when we went there on a particular day. I saw him. So we'll have to work on the relationship. We'll have to work on the increase camp base in working there, but we'll have to also work with the provincial government in terms of design, environmental design of the area, and then we will have to increase the tracing in that particular area as we have done with other areas where the success has been. But for now, those are the lessons we have learned about that place.
Thank you very much, Minister. We'll take the second and the last round of questions. After him.
Good morning, Minister. Llewellyn, Prince of Network 24. Minister, we just want to find out if the police will do anything with regard to we've seen the public protests in Hermanus and all around the country. Does the police have a strategy to fight public protests when they get out of hand? Thank you.
Prime Minister, just a quick follow-up question on that Cape Townians thing.
Heartful?
Cape Townians.
Okay. And you better know I'm not their spokesperson, but let me hear.
I just want to find out, Minister, the utterances in that television interview, I mean, they lambasted the police on many different, viewpoints. Would you, do you support that group in any chance? And also, what do you think about their views on, the issues that they've risen?
Okay.
Thanks again. This is my last question, Minister. Thanks for the opportunity. Minister, I know there are very good police officers within their service, and they are doing a great job. For instance, just to make an example, there was a shooting in Mitchells Plain, and then the guy was arrested on the same day. We applaud that. We are very grateful. Minister, in the area, in the city of Cape Town, I don't want to mention the area. Minister, the woman has...
All right, the interruption there of the press briefing by the police minister. Let's take you back. I'm told the picture is back with us now.
To ask you for intervention. Will you make an intervention in that case? The provincial police media office knows about this case. So will you personally make some interventions?
Just one more question from Kalati.
So just two quick ones. Is Operation Thunder over now, or how much longer do you think it's going to be in operation? Sorry for that play on words. And then just the second one, you said very clearly that the army won't be deployed. Ministers before you have said it, commissioners have said it, but the DA doesn't seem to be hearing you. What do you think it's going to take for them to accept your message? We know that Musi Maimane is marching today in Nyanga, calling for the army again. So what do you think this is all about? Is it a politicking thing? Why aren't they hearing what you're saying?
Just on that as well, last year when Mr. Mbalula was still the minister, he on 3 occasions in Menenberg and in other gang-ridden areas made the commitment to people that they would be deploying the army by Christmas, is what he said on the last occasion. So sort of what is the stance here? Because that's what we were expecting that. That's what they were promised by the Minister of Police when he was there. So how has things changed since? If I understand. Sorry, it's standing for Minister.
Okay, members of the media, the rounds of questions is now officially closed. Minister will give us a response and it will bring us to the agenda of the press briefing. Minister, over to you.
I was waiting that question to be the first one. Wimbak's, I'll come to it. Correct pronunciation of this place is Hermas. Hermas. What's it? Hermanos. Well, I'm going there tomorrow. I'm personally going there tomorrow to meet the communities. Public protest. Problem with public protest, they've got little to do with the police and more to do with other matters. I know there, while people have a problem with the police, is secondary. They have very primary problems of service delivery. Now, it's a problem that we face countrywide as a South African police. So much money goes unbudgeted to the things that should have been fixed by other people in other levels of government. I was quoted and they said I was arrogant when I said, when communities rise, don't call the police, call the councillor, call the mayor, call the speaker, call those people to go and deal with those matters. Because most of the time, those communities are genuine about the complaints that they raise. In one province, I'm not going to tell you, there are 5,030 houses, all occupied. It's known that Palisa lives there, Cele lives there, so-and-so lives there, but it only that life is in computer. Where you go to the township, there is no single house. No single house. And all the money has been used to that project. Now, when the communities rise against that, are only slabs there, 5,000 slabs, no house. But on computer are all occupied and finished. When they rise, they don't ask, where is the mayor? They ask, where are the police? So, Hermanas is the same thing, but we're not going to hold back as a government to try go there and find the answers. We'll be going there, we'll listen what they say. There are issues to raise against the police now that have developed on the working with the police going forward. But people responsible there must stop marching for SNTF and make sure that they go there to deal with the genuine complaints of the people. The second one, hurtful captains. I'm not going to sit here and talk politics. It's more politics what they raise than security. I've got my politics. There is one thing I know, the politics. I grew up in the organization that works on non-racialism, non-sexism, one people in South Africa. That if moving from the document I grew under called Freedom Charter to the Constitution, it says that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. So I'll end there. But about the police matters, we are available as a police leadership to speak to whoever has the problems with. Actually, I was very keen to have an audience with Mr. Adams, and I'm sorry that I will invite him through the TV, but I will find the way of speaking with him so that we sit down and we talk and we listen to each other and have his problems, if it can be solved, yes. If they can't be solved, yes. But from this side, nobody, we repeat, nobody that we can engage. If you want to engage us, and if you don't, we'll ask you to engage you. If you say no, we can't arrest you for saying no. But we will be very pleased to engage whoever, including hurtful Capetonians. If there is any hurtful Capetonian here, we are inviting that Capetonian now to engage immediately after this. But if there are no hurtful one here, we'll get those hurtful one and try to speak with them. Bad cops intervention. That's not Western Cape alone, but I would like to personally get that case because Provincial Commissioner Chula will have to act on that and act immediately. If you read the police's speech for this year on budget of the Minister of Police, 3 pages are dedicated on women issues. 3 pages are dedicated on women issues. We really want to try to reverse the scourge of men thinking that women are owned by them. It doesn't matter who. So if there is such a case put on here, that one will have to now and here debated and discussed by myself and the leadership of the South African Police and action. We can't send the police to defend the weak and vulnerable and them prime them. Cannot be. And we have dealt with those matters. Nationally, we do have those problems. One thing that I'm glad about your approach is that you said there are good police and as well there are bad police. Usually the community and the media say police are bad. No, there are very, very good police. That's why prisons are full, are 42% full. And not a single one of those people that are in prison who told and marched to prison. They were all sent by the police at the initial stage. They did not march there, those people. And bad police, yes. Hence, 3 months back, we arrested 17 of them at a go in Eastern Cape. 17 arrested. So there are quite several of them that are doing long cases. In Mpumalanga, we have 2 that were involved in activities of cash heists that are doing 20 years each. So, and we shall not take our step back to those that are bad. And we shall work with those that are good, inviting even you to please highlight those are good and lambast those are bad police, those bad police. So we'll work with you on that one. This one, the Provincial Commissioner is here. I hope he has information. If it not, you are here as a source, as a resource of that information, and we take it. Go. How long is the? How long is it? How long is based on the initial finding statement of the thing? We will assess. And have we stabilized? Have we reversed? If is yes, we'll go home. If no, we'll stay. The assessment, as we're giving now here, it looks like we haven't passed the stage of stabilization. So which means we haven't reached the stage of reversal if we have not passed the stage of stabilization. We are still on that one. But we will assess on that and go. I think I've answered the question of the army. The army may be taken from the Honorable Mbak's agreed. There was no Operation Thunder when Mbak's agreed. I guess people of Western Cape don't want army per se. They want safety. They want safety, not army. So if you give them their safety, if you give them their comfort in their homes, if you give them the visibility of the police and better working relationship, they will take that. I went to eNCA. I think one mother there insisted that the time we come back, he wants us to have lunch in his house, in her house, and we'll definitely we have the details. We'll have lunch in her house. She said she has nothing, but want us to come and share her nothingness, and we'll just do that. The way they said to us, their kids can play outside after 6. Something that has been long gone in that particular place called eNCA. So I'm sure those people would not say to you, we want soldiers. They say we want peace. I have a letter here, beautiful letter, somebody saying, thanks to Thunder, as a neighborhood. So I'm sure that letter can be shared at a later stage if you want to see it. The major problem here, is that if you bring the army that is not ready to carry the mandate of people rising for whatever reason, the mandate of curbing crime as a crime, you might exacerbate the situation where the army might create more hate between the government and the people. There is nowhere where police have been shot and run away here. And you say that you need the army. Why? The police have run away. There is no situation that is there. Police are handling the situation softer. In one of our operations in Mitchell's Plain, police raised an issue where there was an exchange of fire between the police and the community to say we couldn't pursue them because they ran among the people. And those criminals, they got inside, they mingled with the people. I'm not very sure if any other form of training would have taken that on board. I'm not saying that the army would have shot people, but police are trained to be softer where the lives of people are endangered. So that's that. The last point on the army situation, nobody has engaged, at least me since I came, with the exception of yesterday when I received a letter from the Honorable Premier of the province asking for the deployment of the soldiers. Not discussion, deployment. Today is a march the Deputy Minister is fetching that I was asked, but I'm doing other things. I'm here in Western Cape. Again, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Musi, came to me and we have agreed to engage on matters. We haven't engaged on this one. But even before we engage is a march. I don't know if coming together and sitting down and talking would not have given us a better results and better resolution of matters rather than the march and saying that the police have failed and all that. No, police have not failed. Police are working on the matters that have been far gone, trying to stabilize and reverse and all that. And I've been in eNCA several times. Nobody to me has called the deployment of SANDF in eNCA. I don't know why it doesn't go to eNCA. And I just hope, and I'm making a call, I know that there are several other marches opposing the march of the calling of the SANDF. I hope nobody faces up the problem in this particular Western Cape. We have enough problems. So if others are marching for soldiers and others are marching for no soldiers to be there, because there is that march today, I just hope and I wish that they are not putting more fires on the matter of violence in the Cape Flats and African townships here. So again, all people that want to get engaged on the violence and crime matters, we have opened doors to sit down and talk. And then if we emerge in that meeting with agreement and understanding that yes, we need soldiers, let it be. But from our side, we have not reached there. But please stop marching and stop making crime a political ball and try to put solution on that. Whoever that contribute in the solution of solving the case must be put on board. That's why we, as the government of the ANC and the minister of the ANC, I did not look at the political affiliation. I looked at the scales, if you can contribute. And those people that, again, are shouting so much about crime are opposed when you are saying, give us the skill. The guy is skilled. This lieutenant is skilled, has been part of policing and all that. Look at his CV, what it says about crime and all that. You make that call to that side that it cannot be. This side you are making the call, it can be. So please tell us if you are a goat or you are a sheep.